Hey gang, having a look at another super high value knife. This one is again from Rook, which is the knife division of Phoenix, the flashlights. Now these are made in China, of course. They seem to be made in the same place that Real Steel makes their knives. Probably in the same place that Spyderco and all their big OEMs, do work for the companies, but Rook are fairly new on the block. So this one here is another stainless steel frame lock flipper knife. And again, like the last one, the P801 that I showed off a few videos ago, this one is another very, very snappy, very, very good quality flipping knife. So a little bit bigger, this one. Let's crank it open and we'll just compare it to a couple of other blades. So we'll put this one at the bottom. No, wait, we'll put it in the middle. That's right, we'll put it in the middle. Let's compare it to a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. So we all know how big the Paramilitary 2 is. So you're looking, you know what? A little bit less on the blade, a little bit more on the handle. Overall, pretty much the same length. Excuse me. Let's look at it versus an Endura, Spyderco Endura. This is a fairly big knife, the Endura, so a little bit extra on the handle and whatnot. Let's look at it next to a couple of other frame lock flipper knives, shall we? Let's look at it next to the Spyderco Mantra. This is about a Delica sized knife. There it is. So about the same, in handle, but less in blade. Geez, you can see that M4 still tarnishing just from sitting out, isn't it? There you go. And let's look at it versus the Zero Tolerance ZT0450. There we go. Yeah. So fairly, a bit small knife, about, that next class down. This is sort of in that, 3.5 inch blade style category. So for a knife with a stainless steel frame lock made in China, perhaps the weight will be something that you're interested in knowing. So 119 grams, so not a light knife, not a Delica 66 grams type deal there, but stainless steel, you're never going to get titanium for the price you pay for this knife, which is $40. I know, right? Crazy. Let's have a look at the knife from tail to toe. So starting with the tail, we've got the lanyard hole here, and the lanyard hole is formed underneath this, so there's a little gap underneath there, and it's in this piece of, I think it's aluminium because it scratches. I scratched a little bit of the paint off to make sure it wasn't plastic. It seems a bit plasticky, but it's actually aluminium, and backspacer. So sort of a black, that's kind of cool looking, and there's a bit of a cool looking thing. Whole knife's pretty cool looking, I reckon. It looks very cool from this side, a little bit busy from this side if you ask my honest opinion. But anyway, it's got a really slender profile, so a bit like other knives that I really enjoy, like the Benchmade 940, little line steel TRE, knives that don't take up much room, this way. I like knives to be nice and thin. I've got pockets, I like to carry a phone in the same pocket as my knife, so I do like when the knife doesn't go too much sideways on me. The blade is like a really nice elongated, sort of shanky kind of upswept tipped, really, really nice, really good practical blade shape as well. Got a good bit of flat, good bit of belly. It's very, very pokey and piercy and stabby, and you know what? It's not too thin. It's about, a little bit less than Paramilitary 2, but it's probably about Endura level thickness. Yeah, there you go. So that'll be about just 3mm or so at its thickest part. Of course, there is this large top swedge running along the top, which makes it again a bit more piercy and a bit, perhaps a bit more stabby looking, but really, I think it's actually quite like a cool, futuristic, robotic-looking kind of knife. They've done a bit of creative sort of, swedging and milling and whatnot around the thing, and overall, I really, really love the looks of it. So, the lock is obviously fine. It's a stainless steel lock, so you don't generally have to worry about it slipping and sticking and that sort of thing, and it locks up to about 50%. So, really, really happy just with the general overall performance or fit and finish out of the box with this blade here. It comes with one of those things that do this, then you can't do this and unlock it. One of those completely pointless, solving a problem that was never actually a problem, inventing a problem to solve sort of aspects of knife design, which you do see a bit. But I guess it doesn't damage the knife, and it's actually better than the one on the Line Steel SR2, which I used to accidentally turn on all the time, and it was really, really annoying. So, yeah, just another little feature there. The action is, it's not the best action in the world. Like, but by like, what's the best action in my collection right now? Probably the 0450. Like that just flies out. Like that's such a liquid knife. That's just wonderful action. Probably not quite there, but for something that's a fifth of the price, very, very good. And mainly, of most concern, you're never going to have problems getting it out. Like it's, you're not going to get the, the sort of half-spirited sort of like, this deployment that you get on knives of all walks of life, really. Line still, even still, sometimes if I don't do it just right, it certainly doesn't launch this well. So it's better than most still. Really, really good. In terms of grip, it's a bit square, it's a bit boxy, but it's thin enough you can get your hand around it, and it's not too angular. It's got nice, it's pretty much a straight area to grab there. This bit sits okay in the palm of your hand, not too bad at all. It's nice and long. People with the larger hands are going to be happy with this knife. I like when they do large knives. My favourite large knives are the ones that are, and again I'm going on about it, nice and narrow. So it can be large in one way in terms of long, but thin in others. So pretty much the least ideal conditions for a human penis are really, really good for a knife. Nice and long and skinny. There we go. I always digress into that field. I wonder why. Now we've got probably the world's most ugly pocket clip is the one thing that does stick out to me. I mean, what's going on there? It's functional, absolutely, but yikes, that is busy. Isn't that hideous? It does do the job though, so I mean, practicality points for sure. It's like got this, that's like set this die thing in here, and it's, it's a piece of sprung piece of metal, but just not the best looking thing in the world. So that's probably the one main knock. I was like, whoa, when I got out the box, what is that? I'd much rather the other pocket clip that it was on the other Rook knife. But you've got to look at this as an overall. You're getting a $40 knife with a blade steel that is, better than, I haven't got anything cheap on the table, but better than like, your 8CR13 MOV, better than your VG10 even, or at least equal with VG10 in terms of, if you look back at my edge holding, better than your 420 HC. It's a very good blade steel. It's one of those sort of middle tier non-powder steels. Absolutely, it's just like your well done 440C in that range. So you're getting that, you're getting a good long piece of that, and you're getting a nice, well-machined stainless steel handle. You're getting some complexity, some machining complexity, just like things like backspaces and different colorizations and little catches and latches and whatnot. You're getting well done, it's some sort of caged bearing system. I shine my torch in there. I don't want to take it apart because I'm pretty sure I'll fuck it up if I do. So it's some sort of bearing system in there. So you're getting a really smooth flipper as well. $40 is getting you a lot from Rook knives at the moment. And this one's on Blades of Oz. That's where I got it. I suggest you have a look at them. There's a range of Rook knives there, and they're all about this price. And this is the third one I've had so far, and it's excellent, and they've all been excellent so far. Like they don't really need much, and they're great gift knives. They come in a good box, like a nice little proper box. They seem special, like they do. They don't seem Sanrenmu, Ganzo. Like you get a Ganzo knife, and it just feels like it's kind of got, all knives are inspired by other knives, but you get a Ganzo out, and it just feels like it's two exact knives smushed together. So say I'll grab this, right, this Ganzo, and it just feels like it's a line steel SR handle sort of thing with an axis lock, and it doesn't seem quite right. It seems a bit seedier than these seem, and I know there is an element of seediness with lots of Chinese manufacturing. That's just something we either accept or shun completely. Have you got and the way I see it, you can be really judgy on China, but there is pretty much a solution of every product that's made somewhere else. So I don't know, people get really militant about don't buy Chinese knives, but then I feel like you can only really say that if you own nothing Chinese. Because, you know what, you say, but all the phones are made in China. That's not true. Like other places, South Korea makes phones. Like there is other places you can buy everything, but we all compromise in some aspect on China. And I'm happy to compromise on China with pocket knives, but whatever. without getting too much into it, it just often is raised. So that's kind of where I stand. Just before you say much, I think, I don't know, unless are you truly without China in your life, and if you are, then, I mean, wow, that's some effort. But otherwise, just get the knife if you enjoy it. If you're really against supporting this particular facet of Chinese industry, then I guess it's going to be a knock for you. But anyway, so knives from China, these Rook knives, it's a golden age of gear over there. It really is. It's better than the Spyderco, efficient. They're better quality than the Spydercos. In my opinion, as I was getting to the Ganzos, that's for element of seediness. It doesn't have this. It doesn't have this. It feels like a pretty fresh design. I know it looks, Sinkovich-esque. Sort of. But is that just because of the color scheme? It's. Because there's a lot of different, especially if you look in the handle, there's a lot of differentiation there, and even in the blade, really. There's only so many ways you can do things, and I think at least with this company, they've got something slightly new going on, or at least they're getting proper, multiple sources rather than just, two sources of design input that they then kind of pilfer and use. So anyway, Rook knives, this one is great, and this is probably my favourite one so far. There is another one that I'll be putting a review up probably at the same time as this one, which is also really, really good. So I would recommend checking out the Blades of Oz link below, which is all of the Rook knives. They're not everywhere just yet. They're really not. They're not on all the other retailers. So Blades of Oz is where I'd recommend to start, just because he's just like a nice dude making his own knife shop, and I think we should all support something like that. That's cool. And also he has a good, cool range. But anyway, I'm digressing once again. The Rook, this one is a win once again. The P108, great flipper for great cash. And thanks very much for watching, dudes. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.